When you look at the tactical diagram that defines Brazil versus Morocco, what you're looking at is a collision between two completely different football philosophies. On one side, you have Brazil, the traditional power, the five-time champions, a team that has built its entire identity around technical excellence, possession, and the belief that their players are simply more gifted than everyone else. On one side, you have the weight of history. 5 World Cup titles, generations of legendary players, a football culture built on the assumption that talent will always prevail. But look at the other side of this tactical diagram. Look at Morocco, a team that arrived at this World Cup with a completely different blueprint. This isn't a team coming to defend and hope for a lucky moment. This isn't a team coming to park the bus and survive. Look at this formation overlay. This is what Morocco brought to MetLife Stadium on June 13th. This is their tactical game plan. This is their strategic framework. And here's what's absolutely critical to understand. This was a team coming to impose. This was a team coming to control the match. This was a team coming with preparation so detailed, so methodical, that they were ready to challenge the World Cup favorites on their own turf. Let's start with Morocco's approach in meticulous detail. Watch this diagram. This is Morocco's high-pressing structure in the first 20 minutes. Notice where their forward players are positioned, not randomly, specifically. Bilal El Khanous here, Ayoub Bouati here. Their movements aren't improvised. They're following a specific trigger system. Notice where their midfielders are sitting. They're not passive. They're not sitting deep and waiting for Brazil to attack them. They're actively compressing the space where Brazil wants to operate. This is a pressing trap. This is a coordinated mechanism. When the ball comes to Brazil's center backs, look at this diagram, when they attempt to build possession from the back, Morocco has already positioned players to immediately cut off those passing lanes. Not just one passing lane, multiple options. Look at this. The fullbacks are wide. The midfielders are positioned to block the center. The forwards are pushing high. There's no easy pass for Brazil. Every option is contested. This is what happened for the first 20 minutes of this match. Brazil couldn't find space, not because they weren't trying, not because they lacked quality, but because Morocco's positioning structure made space unavailable. Every touch felt heavier. Every passing option was congested. Every moment Brazil received the ball, a Morocco defender was within 2 steps. That's not accidental. That's not luck. That's systematic. That's tactical intelligence executed with precision. Now look at what happened in the 21st minute. This diagram shows Saibari's positioning and his run trajectory. Watch the space between Brazil's midfield line and their defensive line. This is exactly where the goal comes from. This isn't some random defensive breakdown. This isn't a goalkeeper error. This isn't a moment of individual carelessness. This is Morocco exploiting the exact space they've been targeting all match. They've been probing here. They've been testing this gap. They've been building their attacking structure around this specific vulnerability. Saibari makes his run into that space. Look at his timing. He's moving forward exactly when the ball is being played. He's reading the speed of the pass. He's understanding the trajectory. He receives the ball in a position where he has time and space. And with clinical precision, with the finish of a player who has been playing the game of his life, he puts it away. The geometry of this moment is perfect. The spacing is perfect. The coordination is perfect. It's not a fluke. It's the culmination of everything Morocco has been building tactically. This is a goal that confirms Morocco's game plan is working. This is confirmation that their preparation has been effective. Here's Brazil's problem in this sequence. Look at their midfield positioning. They're too high up the pitch. They're pushed forward, trying to maintain possession and control. But that creates a gap. That gap is the vulnerability. That gap is where Saibari lives, and Morocco has identified it. More importantly, Morocco has built their entire game plan around exploiting it. 1-0 Morocco. But here's what happens next. And this is where Brazil's experience becomes critical. Look at how Brazil responded after that goal. Notice this diagram. Their formation doesn't change. Their shape doesn't change. What changes is the intensity of their passing. They begin moving the ball faster. They begin looking for longer passing sequences. They're essentially saying, we're going to control this game through possession and tempo. It's a subtle shift, but it's a crucial one. And notice how Brazil's midfield positioning shifts slightly. They drop a bit deeper. They're trying to cut off Morocco's pressing triggers. They're trying to give themselves more space to operate in. 11 minutes later, look at this sequence in complete detail. This is the exact path to Vinícius' equalizing goal. Watch how the ball moves through this diagram. Brazil executes a passing sequence with precision that only elite teams can deliver. Notice Bruno Guimarães' position here. He's receiving the ball from a center back. Notice how he's angled to receive it. Notice what he does immediately after. He plays a pass to the left. This pass is the key moment. Look at it. This pass travels into space. It's not played to where Vinícius is. It's played to where Vinícius is going to be. This is anticipation. This is understanding movement patterns. Vinícius is now receiving the ball in a position where he has space. This isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is Brazil understanding precisely what Morocco is doing defensively and exploiting it with intelligence. Now watch what Vinícius does. He takes his first touch. See how he's moving away from Hakimi. First touch takes him away from the fullback's immediate pressure. His second touch opens his body. He's creating the angle he needs. He's positioning himself to shoot. And then he shoots from this specific angle. Watch the trajectory of this shot, with such precision, with such power, that Yassine Bounou has absolutely no chance. The ball flies past him. The angle is perfect. The keeper would need to be in two places at once to stop it. 1-1. Now let's look at what happened in the second half. This possession diagram shows you everything. Brazil's possession stays around 46%. Morocco's around 45%. Look at these heat maps. Look at where Brazil is controlling space. Look at where Morocco is controlling space. This isn't a team that's being dominated. This is two teams meeting at a tactical intersection where the quality is genuinely matched. Here's the critical diagram. This shows the width control battle. This is Hakimi versus Vinícius. Look at how Hakimi is positioned. Look at how he's cutting off the space on the left flank. Every time Brazil tries to go wide, Hakimi is there. Not through aggression, through positioning, through anticipation. Look at this. He's winning battles before they even fully develop. This is Champions League form. This is elite defensive work. Now look at Morocco's midfield structure in the second half. This diagram shows the possession pattern. They're keeping the ball. They're maintaining possession despite being a goal down. Look at the passing lanes. Look at how they're moving the ball around Brazil's pressing structure. This is tactical control. This is a team that understands their identity and is executing it with discipline. Here's where Neymar's absence becomes visible. Look at Brazil's attacking structure without him. Their wide players are Vinícius and Rodrigo, both incredibly talented. But notice, they're being marked, they're being controlled. Morocco has built a defensive structure specifically designed to limit their impact. And without Neymar, without that extra element of creative unpredictability, Brazil doesn't have the breakthrough moment. Look at this statistics overlay. Brazil, 12 shots, 5 on target. Morocco, 14 shots, 3 on target. This tells the story. Brazil had more clinical finishing, but Morocco was creating chances. They were creating problems. They weren't just defending and hoping, they were actively trying to win this match. Let's look at the Group C implications. This is what this draw means. Look at Group C standings now. Brazil has 1 point. Morocco has 1 point. Everyone knew Brazil would be strong, but now everyone knows Morocco is strong too. Haiti and Scotland are watching this diagram. They're thinking about what this means for their qualification chances. They're understanding that this group is genuinely unpredictable. Here's the final analysis diagram. What this match revealed about World Cup 2026. Look at this comparison. Traditional power hierarchies are fracturing. Nations outside the traditional base have closed the gap. Preparation matters. Tactical discipline matters. Collective commitment matters. And individual talent, while still important, is no longer enough to guarantee dominance. Let me break down exactly what this diagram shows you about Morocco's attacking structure in transition. Look at this. When they recover the ball, notice the pressure triggers here. They have a specific pattern. They don't just launch the ball forward. They have structured buildup. This diagonal pass here, see how it bypasses Brazil's midfield congestion? This is why they created 14 shots. This is why they looked dangerous throughout. They weren't playing chaotic, counter-attacking football. They were playing structured, intelligent attacking from defensive positions. Now look at Brazil's response in the second half. This heat map shows their positional distribution. Notice where the intensity of play is. Notice where Brazil is trying to create chances. Notice how that correlates with where Morocco is defending. Here's what's fascinating. Brazil is essentially trying to go around Morocco's structure. They're trying width. They're trying long balls. They're trying to find creative angles. But look at this diagram of passing sequences. Morocco is disrupting these patterns. They're cutting lanes. They're positioning defenders ahead of where Brazil thinks they can play. This is the Neymar effect visualized. Look at what Brazil's creativity options are without him. Vinícius on the left, Rodrigo on the right. Both world class, but both players who operate in relatively predictable spaces. Look at this comparison diagram. With Neymar, imagine him here in the attacking third. Brazil has creative unpredictability. Without him, Brazil's attacks become geometric, positional, readable. And at the World Cup, readable means Morocco can prepare for it. Readable means Morocco can set their defensive structure accordingly. Look at this individual performance diagram. Achraf Hakimi's defensive actions in this match. Count the number of times he's in position to cut out passes, count the number of interceptions, count the number of times he's stepped in front of a Brazilian attack. This is elite defending under pressure. He's not making last-ditch challenges. He's reading the game. He's anticipating. He's positioning himself 3 or 4 steps ahead of where the attack develops. This is what Champions League defending looks like. And then look at Bunu's positioning diagram. This goalkeeper made 5 saves from 5 shots on target. But notice, he's not scrambling. He's not flailing. Look at his positioning in each save. He's expecting each shot. He's already moved toward where the shot is coming from. This is a goalkeeper who has studied Brazil, who understands Vinícius's angles, who knows Rodrigo's power, who is prepared for each scenario. Now let's look at this Group C implications diagram in detail. After this draw, what does qualification look like? Brazil will play Haiti and Scotland. Statistically, Brazil should win both. But, and this is crucial, look at what Morocco has now proven. They've shown they're competitive. They've shown they can score against anyone. They've shown they can defend against anyone. That changes the psychological dynamic of Group C. When Haiti and Scotland play, they'll be thinking about what Morocco did. They'll be inspired. They'll be believing they can get a result. Let's look at the passing accuracy diagram for both teams. Brazil maintained 78% pass accuracy. That's elite. That's what we expect from Brazil. But look at Morocco, 76% pass accuracy. While moving the ball faster, while pressing higher, while dealing with Brazil's possession dominance. This shows technical quality that people don't usually associate with Morocco. And this final statistical layer, look at the shot map for this entire match. Where are Morocco's shots coming from? See how they're not just desperate long-range attempts? They're getting into the box. They're creating actual chances. They're moving into dangerous areas. They're not just defending and counterattacking. They're playing genuine attacking football. But here's the diagram that tells the real story. This is fatigue and intensity over 90 minutes. Look at Brazil's intensity curve. High at the start, sustained through the first half, drops slightly in the second half, then stays relatively stable. Look at Morocco's curve. High, stays high, actually increases in the final 20 minutes. This is a team that maintained intensity against the 5-time champions. A team that didn't tire, a team that didn't drop their standards. Let's also look at this tactical evolution diagram. This shows what both teams learned during the match. Brazil, in the first half, tried to play through the middle. Notice where the passes concentrated. In the second half, they shifted toward the wings. They learned that going through the middle was too congested. They adapted, but Morocco adapted too. Watch how their fullback positioning shifted. Watch how Hakimi began pushing higher to cut off the wide areas. This is what makes modern World Cup football fascinating. It's not just about talent, it's not just about pedigree. It's about who learns faster, who adapts smarter, who understands the micro-adjustments that separate winning from drawing. Brazil earned this draw through experience and quality. Morocco earned this draw through intelligence and organization. And that 1-1 scoreline, that statistic on the board, represents something bigger than just a football match. It represents the evolution of the World Cup itself. It represents a tournament where the traditional favorites are being tested, where the margins are smaller, where preparation can match pedigree, where a team from Africa can walk into MetLife Stadium and prove they belong at the highest level, where tactical frameworks matter as much as individual talent, where understanding the game can neutralize superiority, where the future of World Cup football isn't just about the 5-time champions. It's about every nation that has studied, prepared, and believes they can compete.